We're just going to wait a few minutes, just get a few last minute people to join us. If you could mute yourself, that'd be fab, just so we don't have any background noise or people repeating the Zoom lady. If you could put the cameras on, that would be really helpful. It's always nice for me, Mark, to see people when we're delivering. Just makes it much more interactive. We're going to get going in a moment. Thank you, Alan. That's great. Appreciate that. So you're joined. Thanks, mate. Good man. So you're joined by, so I'm Mike Hart, Schools and Colleges Manager. We've also got Mark Saltmarsh, who's the National Player Pipeline Manager. Oh, good to see you too. Thanks. If you could just mute yourselves, everyone, that'd be great. We can get going. Sounds like we're going to have a fun time. Just going to give it another minute for any late arrivals, then we can look to go in. We are being recorded as well, just to make sure we've got this on demand and we can pass it on to a few others. I'm sure you're all well aware of Zoom now, seeing as though we've coming out of COVID and everything. So make yourself aware of the chat. If you could, while we're waiting for a few others to join on, it'd be great if you could open up the chat and just put in the chat for me, yes or no, if you've had a go at doing the online quizzes, whether that's the picture quiz or the video quiz. It'd be good to see people have had a go at doing that. Okay, a few no's. Okay, cool. That's a few of us have had a go. That's good, but mostly no. All right, cool. So this will be a useful session for everyone then. Again, those who joined us late on, I've just let a few extra people in. Please put your cameras on, but you know, please be on mute as well, so we don't have any background noise. I'm Mike Hart, Schools and Colleges Manager, joined also by Mark Saltmarsh, National Player Pipeline Manager. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Can you see that okay, Mark?
Yes, Mike, that's good, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, everyone, we're gonna get going. So hopefully we'll be here for about 40 minutes, I would have thought. So of course, as we mentioned already, welcome to this, the third Schools and College Tackle Height webinar we've delivered so far. Bear with me if I'm a bit slow during this bit. There's still people joining. I'm admitting them in. Of course, there's myself and Mark will be delivering. Bear with me, a few more people in the waiting room. Myself and Mark will be delivering this the session, with the whole idea of the intent really just being about just updating a little bit on the law change, outlining and signposting it to some of the resources, but they're also actually a bit of a call to action just to have a look at making sure that we're ready for September in terms of looking at what we've done so far and ensuring that we're ready for the September start. So thanks for those of you who use the chat. That's good to see that actually there's a few people that have seen the quizzes but not, and also this webinar will signpost you to them, and I'm sure that will help with further learning. Okay, so we've entered, we've come out of the consultation period. We're now into implementation plan, well into the implementation plan. So what we're going to look to do tonight is actually just jump on that implementation plan, and this webinar is part of that process. Have a look at the Tackle Height Hub. We'll have a look at that live. We've then also got the Tackle Safe clinics, which are open for everyone. There's a great opportunity for schools, colleges, and people from across education and universities as well to be involved as a Tackle Safe champion and really help us drive that across the age grade game. We've picked up your question and answers, and we've put them into little categories for us. So we'll cover most of that during today's session. But what will be great is actually we'll try and pick up some of those bits in further detail as well, and then we'll go into a bit of a small breakout session at the end to have a look at actually what we've currently done and actually what do we need to do ready for September. Okay, so what has changed? Oh, bear with me, sorry, I've still got people coming in. So what has changed? So this is a domestic law variation. So as the governing body, we have autonomy from World Rugby to support domestic law variations. So that covers, this will come into play as of the 1st of July, and that covers the age grade game and the adult community game. So that's from below the championship, and then the women's game from below the premiership. And the law changes all around lowering the height of contact between opponents in open play. So open play being after a kickoff, a restart, free kick, penalty or set piece, and then before the next phase or between phase play. And then of course phase play being the scrum, the line out, the ruck or the maul. So as you can see here, both the ball carrier and the tackler have responsibility to avoid head contact. So the whole intent behind the law change has been around minimising two heads in the same airspace. So it fits directly within Law 9, which is around foul play. So there's been some additions to that, but both the ball carrier and the tackler have always had responsibility and duty of care for each other around foul play and around dangerous situations on the field, and making sure that we cover each other. So first of all, bear with me, everyone. First of all, the responsibilities for the tackler. So this is again law 9, foul play, 9.13. So the black is current law, and then through the consultation we added in the red pieces. So a player must not tackle or attempt to tackle an opponent early, late, or dangerously. So dangerous tackling includes, but is not limited to, tackling or attempting to tackle an opponent in open play. So again, that's that open play piece again, which I'll come back to, above the base of the sternum, even if the tackle starts below the base of the sternum and finishes outside. Okay, so that's that terminology about what is liable or not. So I know we've had lots of questions around there. So it's really around the first point of contact has to be below the base of the sternum. So it's about targeting the belly or the thighs. And then this is all around open play. And remember, open play is the period that the period after the kickoff, the restart, kickoff, free kick, penalty, or set piece, and then before the next phase or between phases. So it's just that open play tackle. There is no change to the ruck, maul, or the line out. A two-player tackle can continue to happen, although the second player entering that tackle situation must be adhered to 9.13. So their initial contact has to be below the base of the sternum. There's the grab tackle and the arm tackle can continue. So the arm tackle, which is in law, can continue because two heads are still away from each other. The grab tackle and the rip tackle can continue as well. It's that risk versus reward. So as long as that initial contact is below the base of the sternum, we can still have that contest for the ball, which is part of the fabric of the game and part of our principles of play. The pick and go can also still happen. And of course, because that's still part of that contest, especially with that's within 1 meter with around the ruck. So it's not deemed as open play, but also that the speed and the intensity and the collisions much lower and less impact than in an open play tackle. So the terminology may be liable. What we'll do is Mark will signpost to this, but we'll signpost you to the application of law paper, which is online, which is a great document which will help you have a look at this. And then it also has the sanction framework in there. So the word liable that's the reason why we have laws and we don't have rules. It's very much contextual and based on what's seen there. So we could hit below the base of the sternum and slightly ride up, but actually there's been no head contact and heads are completely away. It will be play on and continue. Okay, we're only at risk when there's two heads are in the same airspace. Hence we have the new responsibilities for the tackler. So the second law change, which came out of the research, so we've changed the tackler. It was really important to actually look at the responsibility of the ball carrier. So that, as I mentioned before, the ball carrier always did have responsibility to ensure that they're not reckless or dangerous, to leading with a head, jumping into contact, and have a duty of care for the tackler. And what's changed now is that ball carriers must not lower their height significantly before making contact with an opponent. So as you can see on the right hand side, there's a couple of cues here that we're looking at, and this is all around minimizing the risk of two heads in the same airspace. So we know that 70% of concussions happen in the tackler, and that's 50-50 between the tackler and the ball carrier, and that's 4 times more likely to happen if the tackler's head is above the base of the sternum. Hence why these laws have come in. So what do we mean by dipping? So dipping is defined as quickly and briefly. So actually is a reckless act. We would like controlled, technically correct behaviours from players and actions for them to do. And then late and low would be seen around not allowing a fair contest. So as you can see, the green areas there, we're still bracing for contact. We're still preparing for contact. So very much work around pre, during and post contact. So players' evasion skills, move in, and then preparing the body for contact and leg drive. But actually we're providing some green areas for the tackler to be able to make a bit of a contest. Whereas the red, that would be late and low, shoulders and head well below hips, so it would be a poor body position, which we would never coach anyway. And it doesn't allow a fair contact for the tackler to make a contact. But also the second part with that, the tackler may have set their height, and of course it gives the tackler no opportunity to adjust and prepare themselves to make a fair tackle. Significantly will be, if you again will signpost you to the application of law paper. So significant would be a judgment by the referee, and very much dependent on the circumstance in terms of what happens in front of them, where's the contact being, and so on. So have a look at that late and low. We'll signpost you to the application of law bit. You'll be able to see all the different bits and the sanction framework, which hasn't changed. All that's changed has been the line of where the tackle happen in terms of the base, below the base of the sternum. Okay, I'll hand over to Mark for just a few bits to take you through in terms of the roadmap and what's available online.
Thanks, Mike. Can you hear me okay?
Got you.
Good. Great. Hi, everyone. Thanks very much for joining. As Mike said, really good to have a good turnout, and we'll obviously make the recording available to those that couldn't make it. A number of you might have seen this before if you've been on the calls before. What we did early in the process is look at how do we make sure when we're implementing the change that we're really connected with everyone who's going to be involved in acting out that change, obviously within the game. So this roadmap here shows where we've gone from a process of informing people, letting them know some of what Mike has just covered. So that stuff's now been around a while once we had the confirmation of the law. And we've continued to increase the amount of information that's available, the examples, and I'll talk in a second about our Tackle Hub, which holds all of that information. So that was that sort of April, May informing section, which was right across everyone involved, from players to coaches, match officials, volunteers, etc., right at teachers, right across the game, and letting them know the change. We've also then moved into now a period of things that are much more face-to-face, and an opportunity for people to test out their own knowledge and those sorts of things. And again, I'll talk about that on the hub in a second. But the examples of what the change will look like, how that will be different from our current age grade, armpit height moving into base of the sternum, etc., has now started, and we're already on with our sort of face-to-face process, as well as these virtual sessions like the webinars we've got here that we've been doing right across the game with different groups as well. And we've had, as well as schools and colleges, we've had university sessions and also done a lot of club engagement as well online. But we're now into the in-person element, which has started really well. So the Tackle Safe clinics, which I'll talk about in a second, are our big way of getting everyone involved. And we also know that from a schools and colleges perspective, we've had the Introduction to Contact courses that ran throughout the last sort of month, 5 weeks, and had, again, a really good turnout like last year on those of generally more novice teachers, but we're able there to do a really good introduction to tackle height as well. But again, of those courses, we had over 40 courses ran, attended, and thank you to all of you who had members of staff who came along to those, as well as some students as well, student leaders. So a really good start for us face-to-face wise in pushing things out. So that roadmap continues, as you can see there, right through into the season, the start of the season, and beyond that as well, so we can keep the information coming to everyone. So Mike, if you want to click on the next one, and I think you're going to be flash here, aren't you, and go out to the website.
Is it working?
We will hope it works. I can't see it at the moment. We're still on the roadmap page.
Don't worry, my flash ID didn't work then. Bear with me.
So basically what we've done is we've developed what we call the Tackle Height Hub. Here we go. Mike is just going out to, there you go. Thank you, Mike. That's great. So if you go to englandrugby.com/tackle height, this is the Tackle Height Hub. And as you can see, the roadmap is on there, but there is a huge amount of information, which includes those graphics that Mike shared earlier on. It includes the videos that explain what we've done. And in this section here, the information resources section is sort of the starting point with those bits of information and plenty of other information that can help you, not only with you and your staff, but also to brief your players, parents, your head teachers, etc., and show the wealth of information and the rationale behind what we're doing. So you can see there a whole bundle of different things that can give you opportunities to engage people, but as well as upskill yourselves as well. And those quizzes there at the bottom are really useful in terms of just helping to think and provide different versions of tackle height scenarios with real life pictures, etc., and help to help coaches, referees, parents, spectators to look at what scenarios might occur and how we would deal with them. So that's that information and resources section. But down the bottom here is some specific stuff for different parts of the game. So we've got our summer activity guide, which has been written specifically this year with tackle height in mind, and that is the regulation of the out of season game now, as well as the formats of the game that we'll play in August under that framework. So when you're back, some of you will come back in August and might do some pre-season stuff. When you play matches as warm-up games, that's the format that you can play. And also the fourth bullet point there under age grade is a really useful one. That includes all of the changes, not just tackle height, but all of the changes to our regulations for the 2023-24 season. So really useful. There isn't a lot, to be honest. We've been able to keep things probably more consistent than previous years, which is fantastic. Big one is tackle height change, obviously, but there are other bits and pieces in there that will help you in terms of your prep for the season. And then you can see those sections for clubs, referees and coaches, and the club stuff is just as relevant to schools, colleges, universities as it is to clubs. The referees piece is a really useful area for everyone, I would suggest, not just referees, but it will help those of you and your staff and your team of people who are refereeing. And that law application document is excellent. It lines up different scenarios that may happen around the open play tackle situation that Mike has explained, and basically takes you through from a refereeing perspective, what you see, what your reaction might be around the sanction, the penalty, or whatever it might be, and beyond that as well. Really, really useful document that. We would definitely recommend everyone has a good look at that, as well as also the framework, which leads us quite nicely into the for coaches little bit there. And if you can see, tackle safe workshops are already underway. So we're 2.5 weeks in, I think, to our tackle safe workshops, which are taking place right around the country. There are 500 attendees already have gone to those workshops. There will be 200 by the time the season starts. There'll have been 200. Thank you, Mike. 200 tackle safe workshops will have taken place, and we're looking at how we continue those into the season as well. Now, we would highly recommend, this is a really good face-to-face opportunity to work with similar like-minded other teachers, coaches, match officials, players, etc., to really familiarise yourselves with the tackle height changes and how we would explore best practice in that and develop those players when you're back to school and college in September as well. We'll make sure the slides are available. The courses are all on the game management system through your login there as well. So really good opportunity for you, and again for your team of staff, if you've got other rugby staff in your schools and colleges, to have a go at doing those courses as well throughout the summer. Mike, I think I'm handing back to you to talk about the champions, aren't I?
You are, thank you, Mark. Yes. So then just another opportunity, really. So this is a great opportunity for the sector to get involved and support the wider age grade game, use the expertise we have across schools, colleges and universities. We currently have over 70 tackle safe champions signed up across schools and colleges. And this is open up, so the application for this is still open, and we're still taking people. You can see at the top of the screen there in terms of what they're looking to do. So they will receive face-to-face and online training that will develop that technical and tactical understanding and become almost that tackle safe champion and expert, which will then allow you to be able to go and share that expertise. And what we'd love schools and colleges to do is actually sign up to this and then support and take a leading role in terms of supporting that wider community and that network around them. So if you are a rugby playing school and you have rugby in your title, it'd be great if you could help us with this. and then support that network of schools around the area who maybe have of PE teachers that have other sports to be able to deliver as well. So you'll be the core task for you. You'll be the point of contact for your school, college, university. You'll be able to identify people who need support, and then have that blended face-to-face and online training, and support people to be able to design and deliver safe practice all the way through. So if we can go wider into the age grade game, that'd be great. So the QR code is on the screen there. I'll make sure it is.
Don't let him bark at John.
If you could move yourself, guys, that'd be helpful. QR code's there, just sure.
Let him go.
Do you want to mute yourself for me, David, please? We'll make sure that the links and the codes, everything is sent out for people to sign up as well. As part of this, again, it's free. It's free training, but you'll also get access to the RFU's mentor course as well. So you'll be given a free place within the RFU mentor program as well. So a great opportunity to be involved. Let's see if we can get those numbers over 100 and have a great network of people across schools and colleges as our tackle safe champions, which can only help protect the game within schools, support the governors and parents and head teachers' fears, and actually as we drive to try and make the game safer, fun and faster, which is what World Rugby's teenage players research suggests. So what else is next? Now you know where the hub is. There's lots of plans to keep updating the hub and add extra resource on there. So there's been a series of, as well as this webinar, but there'll be other series of podcasts and webinars that will be designed, delivered. They'll be both live and on demand. So the podcast especially will be with sector experts, so with coaching, refereeing experts and skill acquisition experts. So there'll be an opportunity for you to dial into that, but also interact in that live. So they're just that's just been uploaded at the moment, along with the pictures that we've shared today. There'll be live videos. So actually coaching best practice, and actually coaches delivering live to players, and also snippets of that, as well as having the 3D pictures of the live picture of the side, behind and front on tackle as well. So it'll give lots of opportunities for you to be able to have that blended learning support. This goes with the referee training as well. So the referee team are looking at their whistle stop videos. So there'll be little 4 to 5 minute stop videos. They'll be uploaded in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and they're going through a full training program that's looking to support the societies, and then down towards their club and school local referees, but also their continuous professional development courses are being updated and developed, and they'll look to be rolled out through the July-August period. So we're ready to hit the ground running in September. And I appreciate a lot of you had questions on referees anyway, so they have their own set training plan, and we'll pick up some extra detail in the Q&A session. Okay, great. Bear with me while I just stop sharing here. Great. Well, hopefully that's helped.
Mike,
Yeah.
can I just jump in? There's something I should have mentioned when I was updating as well. It relates to what you just talked about. So one of the things we found, a number of schools, colleges and clubs and unis have asked us about what happens when they play over the border. And for those of you who are, you know, in the far reaches of the north or southwest, often we'll play on a regular basis with teams from over the border. We've been working as 4 home unions, because we know from an Ireland perspective as well, pre-season, there tends to be a fair bit of pre-season touring or things like that as well. Really good bit of work between the 4 unions, and in the next week we'll have available a really very easy to use guide, 1-pager, which will have all the links to each union's equivalent of our tackle height hub, and a really simple table of how the new tackle height will be applied across all 4 different unions. So it gives you, if you are going to play over the border, or got teams coming to play you, it gives everyone the opportunity to get ahead of the game and understand what each union is doing as well. So I should have mentioned that at the start, Mike, because that clearly will really help from both the coaching and refereeing perspective as well. And it means everyone who's on the touchline can understand better as well by sharing that information and the various different hubs from the different unions. There's actually very little difference, which is good, and all of that is clearly on that 1-page guide that we've got as well. So we'll make sure we've sent that through to everyone who's registered for all our webinars as well.
Thanks, Mark. No, it leads in nicely. So we've had a look at the questions that were submitted. We've covered majority of them within that presentation, but then we've also got some technical, some support, and some impact bits where we've framed them. So if we look at some further technical bits, lots of questions around how to introduce and coach the tackle safely. So as you can see, there's over 200 tackle safety clinics that are out there. So if you need more confidence and competence on that, jump on one of them. Nothing's changed in terms of how we teach the tackle. Every England rugby coach in course over the last 19 years that I've been involved has always had the same process, starting, in terms of the key factors and targeting the thighs and building confidence in terms of from a squat to a walk to a jog to a run. And then there's key coaching points around, get feet in close, head to the side, cheek to cheek, pocket to socket, shoulder, wrap, and so on. So there'll also be further, the new tackle safety online course will be updated to support that. So that's not available yet, but that'll be uploaded and that'll be ready for the start of the season. So there we have that face-to-face and the online version of that, along with the England Rugby Coaching Award, which they'll be announced in the next couple of weeks in terms of getting ready to start for September, those who want to look at that. So have a look at those bits. And then if you have a look at the hub as well, there's lots of guidance and some step-by-step process in terms of what people can look to do to introduce the tackle safely. There's questions around contests of the ball. I'll probably pick that up within the role of the ball carrier. Again, the contest is a big part of the principles of play in terms of contest for possession, go forward support, continuity, and then pressure. We don't want to change the fabric of the game. So there's no change to that. Okay, we can still contest the ball in terms of that rip tackle, as long as that initial contact is below the base of the sternum. And then it'd be very much on context and materiality from referees and empathy of the game in terms of risk versus reward. If you do attack the ball and you fly up and your head connects with the ball carrier or the tackler, you clearly there's going to be some sanction there. And then so we'll then signpost you to the sanction framework. Have a look at that. That's exactly the same. That's not changed. The sanction framework in terms of what a referee would do if the ride of the tackle went above the armpit line, or if there's head-on-head contact in terms of the head case protocol and the head protocol. There's nothing changed there at all. It's the same mitigation in terms of what a referee in the process they would follow. Law we've covered. Lots of people are asking about the law. So again, the signpost you to the hub, it's all in there. And the application of law, which is a great document in terms of it steps it out in a nice framework. And then content, I'll hand over to Mark. So Mark's got some support around content and refereeing as well.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, thanks very much for the questions around the support that's available. There's a number of questions around where you can find out more information, and as we've covered that in relation to what's on the hub, and we were really keen to run through it as well, so you could see some of the information that's there. Our advice would be to continue to go back to the hub. We're updating on social media as well, so you will see when new bits and bobs come out, and Mike has explained, some of those will look like turning those static images into video, and things like that will be up there as soon as we can, as well as some sort of real-time, real-life examples of tackles, front, side, back, and things as well. So that will be updated all the time. So probably every 10 days, couple of weeks, a check-in on the hub would be worthwhile. And then Mike also mentioned as well, we had a number of questions and about that role that many of us will have in the age grade game as teachers in schools, colleges, or in clubs as well, where we're as well as being the coach, we're the referee as well. As Mike mentioned, the whistle stop videos are coming, so that backs up the application of law that Mike has just talked about, which, as we keep saying, is a really good, useful document. And our match official development team are out there supporting our referee societies across the country to connect with referees, not only their society referees, but much more broadly as well, those who are officiating in the game right across the piece, club, schools, colleges, and universities. Our development of referees is linked into the tackle safe courses as well. That isn't, as we said earlier, isn't just about coaching, it's about refereeing as well. So looking at the tackle situation through that refereeing lens is part of those courses, as well as you'll see that on some of the online information that's come through, and some of you might have seen that have attended various pieces of those as well. We mentioned it on the last call, the referees and refereeing is probably going to be the most difficult and challenging part of application of the tackle height law. It's been the same in any law change, how we help referees to get the space, if you like, and time to be able to develop, just as players and coaches need to as well. And again, we would just reiterate that call to action to everyone, just to support those who are refereeing as much as possible, and recognise it's a challenging situation for them. They're learning just as everyone else is, but it'd be really easy for people to blame the ref, to have a go at the ref. We really do need to support our referees and respect the situation that they're in, trying to help players to play the game as much as we ever have. So that would be our plea. So the support is out there. There is refereeing specific stuff alongside the coaching stuff, and the hub is your go-to area.
Mark, there was a question around impact on the game. So how will it affect schools and participation, and what impact will it have? Which I know we don't know yet, but
no, yeah. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, we had a few questions, didn't we, on this around views on what might happen. We have got the French model. So France have been going for over 2 years now in terms of the waist height tackle law that they have, and they are now seeing increases in participation. Now, some of that is aligned to, obviously they've got a World Cup coming up, and we know that, but actually on-field feedback of those players on the field, and coaches and referees involved on the field, are also talking about a game that is more accessible, potentially more fun as well, and they're starting to analyse that information, not only the technical information in terms of injury rates, etc., but also the information about how it feels to be playing the game. And there's some really encouraging stuff there, which is actually, they feel, leading to increases in participation as well, about the type of game that rugby union has become because of the sort of the flow of the game due to a different tackle height. We have the Community Rugby Injury Surveillance Programme that some of you will already be involved in. We will continue to encourage as many schools and colleges as possible to sign up to become part of CRISP. It is vital that we're able to monitor and measure the impact of changes to law, and particularly this one around tackle height, on participation and injury rates. So we will continue to push that information out, as will our colleagues in England Colleges Rugby Union and England Schools Rugby Union who are on the call, and encourage you to sign up for that. We need as many schools and colleges as possible to do that, and we will clearly also survey as well, to look at what's the impact on participation, how it feels, and there'll be a really big monitoring process throughout the next year and onwards in relation to tackle height. The other questions, Mike, we had, I think, were around how we think it'll affect schools and colleges specifically, weren't they? And as many of you will be aware, we've got some challenges. We've had some challenges over the last couple of years or more around the safety of rugby in schools and for young people. We have a semi-independent review running at the moment, which is due to report with some recommendations in the autumn around how can we make sure that we future-proof, I guess, the game in schools for the next 5 and 10 years. We're taking a long-term view to it. But certainly this kind of thing about demonstrating we've got a real focus on safety, and we're not going to shirk the fact that changing the game to make it safer is something we're not scared to do, and that those people in the game are really in support of that, I think is an important thing to demonstrate to parents, to head teachers, to your governing bodies, etc., and outlining some of what is now available to help make the game safer, and really support people like yourselves who are delivering our sport across the education sector would be great. That's our drive, is to make the game safer and keep it open and accessible. So I think we've covered most of those things probably in the presentation, Mike.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Great. So, I mean, you've had enough of us waffling on and everything. What would be great is actually we're just going to quick 5 minutes, just put you out into breakout rooms and actually just have a look at, some of you put this in already, in terms of actually what have you done so far? This is where everyone starts to jump off. Look, what have you done so far? then also start to think about actually what you're going to put in place ready for September. So some of you have started to share already around it. You've used the hub. We've done some staff CPD and meetings, and actually you've started to update some of your parents and your governors already. So share those ideas, and then actually just have a chat about what you're going to do ready for September, and then just put one bullet point in the chat for us when we come back. That'd be great. Okay, so literally quick 5 minutes, and then we'll come back together and wrap up.
This is where you find out, Mike, if everyone's in the room or not.
Yeah. I'll put everyone in, so we should be okay. I'm just going to
academic staff, so like each of those can take them under the wing a little bit around the B's and C teams as well. So
Right, that's good.
That's kind of how we're driving it down.
Thanks, Sean.
That's great. It's great.
Mike, it's Jim.
Oh,
Can you hear me, Mike?
I can.
Hiya, buddy. How you doing?
Good. We'll have to wrap up in a few minutes, mate. We've only got 2 minutes left.
All right. Is there anywhere where you can direct us to the application of the tackle height of the pick and go at the ruck? Is there anything on the tackle hub that we can sort of?
Yeah, it's all on there. It's all in the application. There's no change to pick and go. Pick and go stays as part of the game, no matter where you are on the field. It's that 1 meter around the rucks. It's still part of what we class as the breakdown before it goes on to the next phase. Okay, but it's all in there, Jim. Mark replied to your question in there. Okay, spot on. Look, massive thank you. I know we lost a few, so massive thanks for those who stayed with us. That's great. I think it's some really good conversations. I know some of you had some tech issues, but I'm sure there were some great conversations. Please feel free to put in your action in terms of what you're going to do in September in the chat for us. With that'll help us share models of good practice and share with other schools and colleges around the area and stuff. So we've got some good examples of what people are doing already, but put in there in terms of what you're going to do already. We've had some great stuff shared with us already with some of the guys who couldn't get into rooms. So me and Mark had a little bit of a chat. And then, so don't be shy in the room for us. And then finally, what I'd like to do just to wrap up is just give you a massive thanks, really. So bear with me, I'm struggling with my tech now. Bear with me. Just a massive thanks for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time out during that busy period. Oh, what's going on here? Especially after school and college. And then what we'll leave you with is our community rugby injury surveillance project. So of course, this is all based on our evidence that we gain from schools and colleges. So this runs across the adult male game, the adult female game. We have a strand for the community game. For schools and colleges. So again, the links for sign up will be there. Please help us with this. It's delivered and ran by University of Bath, and then it's part of our Rugby Safe umbrella. So the better insight we get, the better research you get, the better decisions we can make to actually try and inform and make the game faster and safer, and allow the game to continue to flourish. So if you're interested in this, a little bit of setup admin, but actually you get some great guidance and some great support from University of Bath. They really want to work with more of us. We're looking to engage in this. So please help us with this. Sign up if you're keen. The more data, the better we'll be in, the better place we'll be in. Okay, so the QR code's there if you wanted to quickly get it. If not, I will make sure it's shared with all the information anyway. Okay. I really hope, sorry, Mark, you want to jump in? I was going to say, I really hope that's been useful for everyone. Keep feeding in those bits that you're going to implement in September into the chat for us. Mark, did you want to wrap up with anything? I was going to say just a massive thanks, and that's it from me. Just hopefully you'll get your evening back. This will be on demand, so those of you watching online, hopefully you'll get some great insight as well. Feel free to reach out if you need anything else. Huge thanks. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.